So Toto's Africa is a song that has really stood the test of time. People love to learn this song. I get this request all the time. I'm going to teach you guys the best way to play it on the piano and a couple of things that you can do to modify the more difficult parts and make them more manageable. So the first thing we have to learn is this. This is the introduction, and it comes back a whole bunch of times throughout the song. So what that is, it begins with an A major chord in second inversion, so it's flipped upside down a bit. E, A, C sharp from bottom to top. And left hand can just play A, either as a single note or as an octave, like that. And you're going to play this a whole bunch of times with this rhythm. Check it out. So form this chord with your hands, just like me, and practice that rhythm. It's 5 times. Now after you do that, you have to move down to a G sharp minor chord. It's not too far away. It looks like this. It's D sharp, G sharp, and B in the right hand. And left hand is just a G sharp octave or single note, depending on your preference. And you're only going to play that once, so like that, very short. And then you have to move finally to this. This is C sharp minor, also inverted, so it's G sharp, C sharp, E from bottom to top. And left hand is just a C sharp octave, like that. So the result is, and that's the riff right there. Again. Now on this landing on the C sharp minor, sometimes I like to use my index finger, which is free and just hanging out here, to play a B. And the reason for that is because it turns it into C sharp minor 7, which is just a little juicier. There's regular C sharp minor, C sharp minor 7. I prefer it, so sometimes you might see me do one or the other. Not a significant thing, but worth mentioning. That riff happens 4 times in the introduction, and of course there is the famous Kalimba part, which is played on a DX7 like that. And that sounds something like this if you do it properly. So let me explain what's happening there. I'll show you the easy way first. So with the right hand, you jump way up to F sharp, and you learn this 5-note pattern. So it's F sharp, E, C sharp, B, back to C sharp. 5 notes. Once you have a handle on that, you repeat it 3 times with a little more at the end. I'll explain that. It's like 3.5 times. See, it doesn't quite get through a 4th revolution of those 5 notes. Again. No more, no less. You have to play it just like that. Now playing the riff that I showed you, jumping up there, that's hard enough. I'm using the pedal after I hit the last chord, hear it ringing, that way I can jump up. Okay, that's kind of tricky, and I frequently still miss the note, even though I've played this song like 8,000 times. I still screw it up all the time. But truth be told, there is another part underneath that top part that I have to show you guys that the left hand is supposed to do. And it's a 3-note pattern. It goes like this: F sharp, G sharp, B. So how many times? 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's like 5 and then 2/3 times, right? Not quite 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's the 6th. And you are supposed to play these together. And what's tricky about it is that the thumbs kind of fight for B, as you can see. So there are plenty of instances where both thumbs land on B, one does, and then the other right after, and it really kind of messes with your head. So this takes some practicing. So that's really what you're supposed to do. If you can't do it, just do the top right hand. Some people even program synth patches that have 2 voices a 4th apart, so you get something like while only playing one note, and that gives a similar effect. So there are lots of cheats and different hacks. The way I showed you is the way Greg Phillinganes plays it, who toured with Toto so many times on and off, and that was the way he always played it. And he told the composer, David Paich, to play it that way, because David Paich played it a little bit differently in the studio, but he has since adopted that method, as far as I can tell from watching different videos on YouTube and seeing him explain it. So that's personally how I would do it. So this whole thing you're going to do 4 times. That's your introduction. Now let's get into the verse. So the verse chords start like this. Riff should sound familiar to you. Here are the chords, let's talk through it. B major in an inversion, so we have F sharp, B, D sharp in the right hand from bottom to top. And then we have E flat minor 7 or D sharp minor 7, like this. I have D sharp in the left hand, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp in the right hand. And then we have G sharp minor, like this. It's G sharp, B, D sharp in the right hand. You can also do G sharp minor 7 just by moving the thumb from G sharp to F sharp. Hear the difference? Right, I prefer the minor 7. And then the next thing you're going to do is keep the shape you have in the right hand, whether it's G sharp minor 7, doesn't matter, but you just move the left hand down to F sharp, like that. And then move the left hand a bit further down to E, and in the right hand you play E, A, C sharp, which is an A major chord over E. Next, we play an E major in root position in the right hand over F sharp in the left hand. Beautiful chord. And then back to G sharp minor 7, which you've probably already done, depending on whether you did the G sharp minor or minor 7. This time you really should do minor 7 though, like this. So it's F sharp, B, D sharp right hand, G sharp left hand. And then finally go back to the riff. So let me go over that verse one more time. It's a really beautiful set of chords. I still love playing it. Now you have to give the left hand some rhythm. So the bass can do a rhythm as follows. It can go bum, 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 which is a dotted eighth note, 16th, and a quarter. Dun, 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 dun. So something like this. If you're playing in a band with a bass player, you don't have to do that. You can just pad the chords or just hold them the way I initially did. There's another thing you can do in the left hand which involves spreading the bass line across octaves, and you can go low, high, low, low, high, low, like this. I really like that. It seems to give a nice bounce. So whatever you choose to do, it's all good. It'll work just fine. You're going to play through that whole verse revolution that I taught you guys 4 times, and on the 4th time there's a bit of a change, but it's not hard. So let me play it and I'll explain it. Time, I'm stopping on this 3rd chord, the G sharp minor. So let me show you the 4th revolution, what's going to happen. Stay here, and then you go into the original riff. So you don't have to learn any new material. In fact, you have to do less and just kind of sit. And then we go into the chorus. Chorus is going to be like this. Back into the introduction. So chorus is not too hard. Let me talk you guys through it. We're going to start with F sharp minor or F sharp minor 7, which is what I prefer. So it looks like this. C sharp, E, F sharp, A from bottom to top. Left hand can play just a nice F sharp octave. Then you're going to play D major, root position. I sometimes add with my second finger the second degree. I add E. Like that. I think it just adds a bit of juice. Like that. And then A major. This is an inversion, but it makes sense here. C sharp, E, A, bottom to top. Left hand, of course, is A. And naturally, E is the next chord, and you should play it this way. B, E, G sharp from bottom to top. Left hand, of course, is E. So those 4 chords are like this. Again. 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 Here's the change. So kind of in the middle of the 4th cycle, there's a change, which is this. It's a C sharp minor 7. I like to play it this way. B, C sharp, E, G sharp from bottom to top. Left hand, of course, is C sharp. Then you're going to sort of keep the same shape in the right hand, but get rid of the C sharp with the index. And that leaves you with an E major chord because they are related, E major and C sharp minor. Left hand will go to E. And then you're going to go to F sharp minor, which looks like this. Right hand is A, C sharp, F sharp. Left hand, of course, is F sharp. And then you have to quickly anticipate this, which is E over G sharp. You should do it this way. G sharp left hand, G sharp B, E right hand. And then immediately into the riff. Right? And that whole thing again. So just to recap, the chorus was essentially the same thing 3 times, and then in the 4th time around, this little modification happened in order to take us back to the intro. So let me play the very last time. I don't need to play the whole chorus again, and that way you guys can see how these changes work. So here we go. Introduction. Now the introduction that we're going to have to play is half the length of the initial introduction. So this riff and subsequent Kalimba line you only do twice. So second time. Okay, now we're at the second verse. So you're going to do the same stuff after that short little intro. Change. Now we're approaching the 3rd cycle. In the 3rd cycle, we're going to make it like the 4th cycle of the last verse. So this verse is shorter. 3rd is going to have the slight modification that launches us into the chorus. So nothing new for you to learn, you just have to remember to shorten it. So this is the 3rd time around. Remember, you stay here, and then 1, 2, chorus, and exactly the same. Here we go. now we're approaching the famous keyboard solo. So I have a feeling a lot of you guys are going to want to learn it, but I'm not sure. So leave me a comment and let me know if you guys want to learn the solo, and I will teach it. Either way, it deserves its own video, that's for sure. So for now, I'm just going to show you what would happen under the keyboard solo if you weren't playing it. No surprise, it's just the verse chords. So here it goes. Here we go. Stay here. So it's even shorter than the last verse. They just keep getting shorter, right? The first verse was like 4 revolutions around with a change the 4th time. The second verse I taught you guys was 3, and then the 3rd time it launched into the chorus. Now this keyboard solo verse was only 2, and then the 2nd time it sort of launched you into the chorus. So that's how it's going to work if you're not taking the keyboard solo and you're just playing chords. Just like the verse. Okay, and finally we're in the last chorus. So what we're gonna do here is just play a double chorus. So it's like 8 times through the 4-chord cycle. I'll play it for you guys. Here we go. This is the 8th time. And we're in the introduction. And the intro is kind of infinite here because there's a fade out. So what some bands do live, including Toto, is they might play it 4 times, the introduction that is, 8 times, whatever. They're not going to fade out. They're going to usually do something like this at the end of the intro. Right? And they'll just end solidly on that last chord. So it might look something like this. Here we go. Right? And you have a solid ending just like that. So those are all the parts that you need to play Africa. Again, let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in the solo, that whole part, and I'm happy to teach it and make another video. It's super fun to play. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.